All right, namaste. Welcome everyone. My name is Ruben, representing yogameditation.stream, and this in this course for Be a Force for Good. We have also invited our dear friend Yoga Master Balakhilya to speak. So we are very happy to have you here, and very happy to have Balakhilya here. I hope that you can see and hear me, Balakhilya.
I can, Ruben. Thank you very much. Looks like you're in a amazing place.
Yes, that is true. Good,
Tell
good.
everybody where you are.
Where I
Or
am,
is it a secret?
no, that's I'm on a remote island in the North Swedish archipelago. Let's put it
There
like
you
that.
go. You see? You can do bhakti yoga anywhere. You can do live programs anywhere.
For sure.
So we have a big touch of nature in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very nice. Yeah, no, that's great.
Hmm.
Okay, so are we ready to begin for everybody?
I think we are. So
All right. I thank all of you for joining us. You know, if nothing else, the scenery's great. You can come for the scenery and stay for the lecture. Yeah, no, and seriously, it's nice that you have taken some time to come and participate in this little seminar we're doing. It's a 3-day event, and we're going to touch on, just the main subject of doing good to other people, like doing something that's really good for ourselves and for other people. So, first, I always offer my respects to my spiritual masters, Siddha Swarupananda Paramahamsa and Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami. They're the masters of good, and so they have passed their transcendental good on to countless other people. So we speak from the platform of Bhakti Yoga. And I know some of you, or maybe many of you, have joined our programs previously. So I always say many of the same things in the beginning of the program. So those who are joining for the first time will have some understanding of what we're doing. So as I say, we speak from the platform of Bhakti Yoga, based on the teachings of the Vedic scriptures, which are the most ancient of all scriptures, contain the absolute knowledge of true yoga, and is the tradition always passed down through a line of perfect teachers, perfect masters. See, so the truth comes down unchanged. It doesn't get altered by somebody's opinion along the way or somebody's agenda. They're trying to prove some point or achieve some goal. No. Transparent mediums, just receiving the message and passing it on in its pure form. So our lineage is the Brahma Sampradaya, and we not only feel, we know we're very fortunate to receive our knowledge through this lineage. Now, in Bhakti Yoga, meditation is one of our main activities. So we're going to begin the program now with a very easy meditation that we can all participate in. And remember, yoga is not a spectator sport where you sit on the sidelines and watch somebody else do it. No, it's the participant sport where we all are involved in hearing and repeating what we've heard and doing the meditations, etc. So our meditation now is going to be with the mantra Gauranga. Mantras are transcendental sounds, which means spiritual sounds, coming from the spiritual realm into this material world and endowed with full potency. So when we contact this transcendental sound, we get true spiritual benefit. So again, the mantra is Gauranga. And for this particular meditation technique, we divide Gauranga into 4 syllables. Go, Ra, Ang, Ga. And it's a deep breathing technique. So we inhale through the nose slowly and gently, but very deeply, taking the air all the way down to the lower abdomen. And as the body fills with air, we chant Go Ra Anga very, very gently in the mind. When the body is filled with air, we begin to exhale, and out loud we will chant Go Ra Anga. And then we repeat. Inhale, Guranga in the mind. Exhale, Guranga out loud. Before we begin, we want to relax. And to help us relax, we take in a big breath and let it back out through the nose. With your outgoing breath, let tension, anxiety, frustration, fear go away with the breath. While we do the meditation, we want to listen very closely to the sound and also put the mind on the sound. Meditate on the sound. All right, I want everybody to get comfortable wherever you may be. Just follow my guidance. And when we finish the meditation, sit quietly for a few moments with the eyes remaining closed and feel the effect. Everybody take a big breath, let it out, and relax. Now very slowly, gently and deeply inhale and chant Gauranga in the mind. Two more times. Haribol. All right, so you can see this is a very easy meditation to do, very, very relaxing, and very effective. See, so add it to your life. You know, you can be in a nice place like Reuben is now, beautiful environment, but you can be in the middle of the busiest city and do the meditation also. It's not dependent on location or surrounding conditions, etc. It carries its own invisible spiritual power. See, so add it to your life. Early mornings, fantastic. Excuse me. Early morning, fantastic time before you go to bed at night. Anytime you can use the Gorunga breathing meditation. Okay, so first we sneeze and then we continue. The idea of this little mini weekend series is to let people know how they can really do good. There's a few people that really have an internal motivation or desire. I want to do good things. I want to help other people. I want to make a difference in the world. You know, of course, it always reverts back to I want to do something good for me. That's usually where it all starts. And then as we progress, become a little more outside of our I, me, mine, self, we start thinking how I can help other people. And that expands into the environment and all kinds of other living entities and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But what is the real understanding of what is good and how to really help people? So I speak, as I said, from the platform of Bhakti Yoga and the Vedic knowledge. And in the Vedas, it says the first question we should ask ourselves, no matter what we're trying to understand or achieve, is who am I? I've talked about this every time. I always talk about this because it's the foundation of everything after this. We don't even know who we are in most cases. Therefore, what chance do we have of doing the right thing? What chance do we have of doing good? I don't know who I am. I don't know who other people are. See, so I'm at a huge handicap from the very beginning. It's called being in ignorance. And people in ignorance rarely, if ever, do good. You see, they may have good motivation, but the result is not good. You know, if they had knowledge with the same motivation, yeah, the result could be extremely good. And if you have full transcendental knowledge, then the result is perfect. So the idea is we have to understand our true identity. We all have present, temporary, material identities, you know, based on where we are born. See, that means my nationality, and our race, and our gender, and the family we belong to. And then as we grow along through life, it expands, and part of my identity is what my profession is, or who I'm married to, or if I'm married or not. Do I have children? See, what is my educational background? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And in the waning years of life, you know, we have the privilege of being, you know, a senior citizen. That's part of my new identity. Or I am a grandfather or a grandmother or a retired military man or whatever. We just keep accumulating labels, you know, and we see ourselves like this. But it's not really correct. You see, this is all about the material body. Yes, all those labels may identify the body, but is that who I am? Do I see myself when I look in the mirror every day? And so the answer is really no, you're not the material body. See, even the scientists, you know, they don't know who we really are, but they've proven in the laboratories that the body is completely changed every 5 years because every cell, every molecule in the body has been replaced in 5 years' time. Mm. So every 5 years, theoretically, we get a new body. But we don't become another person. You see, if I'm 50 years old, I've had 10 bodies, but I'm still the same person. So the bodies are temporary, but we are not temporary. We remain the same. Mm. And so sometimes people begin to look inside, a little introspection, we would say, to find out their true identity. And when we look inside, we find emotions, desires, sentiments, feelings, will. And so we immediately conclude this is who I really am. See? But the Vedas say, no, that's another mistake, my friend. It is not who you really are. That's another material body, another temporary material body made of subtle material energy, and therefore it's called the subtle mental body or the astral body, sometimes called the psychic body also. So we still don't know who we are. But if we have the understanding that the Vedas know what I don't know, I go there to become enlightened, I find out I'm in a different category of energy completely. I'm spiritual energy. I'm not material energy. Bodies are material energy. I am spiritual energy. A tiny little microscopic atomic in size spark of spiritual energy. And we learned that material energy is temporary, very easy to see. We're always struggling with the temporary nature of the body, trying to preserve it, try to maintain it, and we lose the battle every time. Very quickly, all those years that we had built up before we began this journey in this body, they've passed. And it's time to leave the body, you see. So, material energy is temporary, but we learned that spirit is eternal. That means I, the spirit soul, am eternal. See, eternal means no beginning and no end. So I don't get old. My body gets old. I don't get old, you see. We also learned that material energy is non-living. And again, that's so easy to see. This microphone, that dock there behind Reuben, even the water itself, even though it's moving, there's no life there. It's matter. It's material energy, you see. However, we learned that spirit is life itself. You see, there's no such thing as live matter. There's no such thing as dead spirit. We are the life force in the body. And as long as we're present in the body's called alive, but that's not true. The body's dead. We're alive. And that's so clear at the time of death. Death is when I leave the body. And at that moment, and I mean moment, the body reveals its true nature. Can't even sit in a chair. Falls on the floor, see. So, our true identity is spirit soul. Spirit meaning I'm spiritual in essence. Soul meaning this individual spiritual spark that we eternally are. See. So, we are known as the Atma, and the Supreme Soul is the Paramatma. There is a Supreme Soul from which we all come. See. Another very important piece of knowledge or truth that we need to know in life. Again, many people don't know this. Many people don't accept this. But it's an eternal truth. See, deny it or not. See. So again, we're spirit soul, part and parcel of the Supreme Soul. With this fundamental understanding of identity and life, then we can answer any question in regards to life. When we receive additional information, see, it makes sense. The Vedic knowledge makes absolute sense when we know this truth. If we think we're the material body, the Vedic knowledge does not make sense. The illusions of my false identity, see, that I am this body, this world is my home, etc., is that the goal in life is to enjoy life. See? So that's the self centered part. I am the center of my universe. The goal in life is to enjoy, and I do everything within my power to enjoy life. So, as long as we remain self centered, accompanying that is arrogance, accompanying that is greed, see, lust, because I'm lusting to get this enjoyment from whatever source that I'm trying to obtain it from. From lust comes anger, so I'm always angry. And all this translates into a truth: I'm never happy. There's no such thing as a lusty, angry, greedy, happy person. It doesn't exist. You see? It's a saying, I heard it from the time I was born, really, that I can remember. It's more blessed to give than to receive. See? People who actually go out of their way to do something for somebody else are more happy. See? They may not have any money or a very, elaborate material situation, but they have a different feeling of life. They want to help other people. I used to, many years ago, go around collecting donations, distributing some information that we had, to give people, to enlighten them to these truths, And so we would offer them, these booklets or books. And if they wanted, they could donate. If they didn't, it didn't matter. We still would give them this information for free. But the point is, we would go to poor areas. I was living in Hawaii at the time, and there were a lot of Filipino little communities that were very, poor, materially speaking, not much money, but they were so willing to give. All of them had gardens. They just when the Filipinos go anywhere, they just start planting things. So they had gardens and they had fruit trees and so on, and they were so willing to give you whatever they had. Here, yeah, take all you want, no problem. You see, if they had 4 quarters, they give you 1 and keep 3. This is the way it was. But if you went to wealthy people's homes, you couldn't even get to the door in most cases. They had big walls and fences and guard dogs and security systems and whatever it was to keep you out. But if you somehow managed to get through all of this defense system and got to the door, they didn't want to know about it. No, I don't have time. I can't do it. They didn't give you anything. Can I have a flower? No, it's my flower. Greedy, self-centered. This is mine. I worked hard for it. I built this little kingdom, and leave me alone. You see, they weren't happy people. They weren't smiling. They were dependent on all their luxury and all their gadgets and whatever for their happiness. And here these Filipino people were. They didn't have basically anything, and they were always smiling and always welcoming and always greeting. Because why? It's the nature of the soul to be a servant and not a master, you see. This is something that we don't know in this world. We're programmed, we're indoctrinated in the opposite way. You're the master, and if you're not, you must try to become the master. See, you must become higher and higher in your mastership. See, they even call it, master's degrees, or master class. You're the guy. You're the heavy-duty guy above the other people. You look down at them, you see. But it's against our original nature. Remember who we are? Spirit, soul, part and parcel of the Supreme Soul. The soul comes with certain characteristics. They're always present. And the nature of the soul in this regard is to serve, not to be served. And the ultimate person to serve, who is the true master, is the Supreme Lord. Now you take this eternal characteristic and take it outside the human form of life to the lower forms of life, dogs, all right? Everybody always knows, oh, the dogs are so subservient to the master, you see. They like to serve the master. But if you look, the master is serving the dog. Oftentimes much more than the dog serves the master. You see? Here's this guy who thinks he's the big controller of his dog. Look at my dog. Come here. And the dog comes over. Heel. The dog heels. Roll over. The dog rolls over. Shake hands. The dog shakes hands. You see, I'm the controller of my dog. You see. Eat. Don't eat. The dog stops eating. This guy feels very proud of his mastership. But you see this guy at 5 o'clock in the morning, the next day, it's winter, it's snowing, it's very cold, and he's out walking his dog, waiting for him to take a poo so he can pick it up in his little plastic bag and carry it home with him. You see, who's serving who here? Everybody's got to serve somebody, You can't not serve somebody. The husband serves the wife serves the husband, the parents serve the children, the merchant serves the customer, and theoretically the politician serves the constituency, and on and on and on it goes. And when we're actually engaged in service to other people, we actually feel life. People who actually do some volunteer work, charity work, they're much more happy. They feel they have a real purpose in life. I'm doing something with my life that gives meaning to my life. Just collecting money and collecting degrees and collecting, positions and collecting control and so on doesn't give you any meaning in life. It makes you miserable. You become harder and harder. And what is the person, or what is that which becomes hard? The heart. The heart becomes harder and harder. I don't know if you had it in Norway when you grew up, but there was a story they always told at Christmas time called The Scrooge. It was about Mr. Scrooge. You had that in Norway? And he was a greedy guy, had a lot of money, but he just kept his money. And his happiness in life was counting his money, protecting it. And he was just in the pictures and the stories that I saw, he was always this real evil, ugly, unattractive, unhappy, angry guy. He wouldn't give Scrooge, it's mine. No, give it to me. I won't give you anything. You see? And so basic society as we know it now promotes Scroogism. We just become better and better Scrooges and more unhappy, you see. Even if we have a relationship with somebody, it's so much about what can I get from you, not how much can I give you, what can I get from you, So the relationships are always a competition to see who can get the most from the other person. And let's say it's 50-50. I give you 50%, you give me 50%. But what if the other person doesn't give you 50%? You give your 50 and they give you 10. Oh, that doesn't go too well. You see, you're not upholding your end of the deal. We had an agreement here. You see, it's all about getting. Even if I give, it's about getting back. And this doesn't make us happy. Some people do charity work, and the whole motivation is, I'll get a reward. Either in this life, I'll get some praise, some recognition, I'll get to, praise how much I've done, and, I gave so much money to this charity or whatever. Or, if we're in a little more religious oriented, I'll get rewards in the next life. After I die, I'll go to heaven. Or, whatever. Depends on the philosophy you're following. Good karma for the future, etc., etc. But it's still about getting. This is not the same. Real charity work is when I give with no expectation of getting anything back. See? And this is just basic material information. We haven't even touched anything about spiritual truth yet. But the understanding is if I want to be happy in this world, and everybody does, I've got to start giving other people my time, my energy, my attention, the goodness. See, this is mode of goodness. It's called. I want to help other people. Now, we're going to talk more in the next installment, episode, etc., about the same idea, carrying it a little further. But that's the idea for the moment, you see, is understand I'm spirit soul. I'm not my material body. I, the spirit soul, eternally want to be happy, and I'm eternally a servant, and that is where real happiness lies. Okay, so take that with you, and tomorrow night we'll be continuing with the next segment. So thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ruben, for the hosting, and we'll be back with you tomorrow night. All the best. Yeah. Namaste, Haribo. Okay, so let's continue with our topic of what to do in life, really. People want to do good. Some people want to do good, but they don't really have information on what good is or how to do good. So remember, we're speaking from the Vedic injunctions, the Vedic teachings. And tomorrow night we're going to actually read from Bhagavad Gita, on this exact subject, which is, the final authority, if you will, on any subject matter. So, people who want to do good, they think other people and themselves are their material bodies. So they think, I can help this other person by helping their material situation. I can feed a hungry man. Oh, here's poor people. Let's do some charity work down in the ghetto, or let's go to a poor country, and do some work over there, maybe help in their infrastructure. They don't have a good water system. Let's, put in a water system that will maintain itself basically, and so they can have fresh, clean water to drink. So many people die per year from drinking polluted water, or they don't have enough food to eat, especially in times when a crop failure occurs, or, the number one, advanced countries in the world come over and take over all their cropland and plant palm oil trees so they can't even grow any local food, or whatever the reason. So let's go help these people. In other words, help their material situation. Give some clothes. We've got closets full of clothes we don't use, but other people don't even have clothes to wear. So let's give some of our unneeded, unused clothes so these people can have something. Oh, it's Christmas. Let's donate some toys for the kids so they can have something to play with. And on the story goes, There's organizations, of doctors, Doctors Without Borders, and they just go to whatever country needs medical help, if a hurricane or a typhoon or earthquake or something takes place. They go there and help the people, et cetera, et cetera. In other words, we're not saying this is bad, but it's not understanding that the person is not their material body. Mm. If everybody on the planet had everything they needed materially, would that make everybody happy? You know? Are all those people, like I said last night, that have all these, material success stories displayed in front of our eyes, are they happy? Hollywood should be the happiest place on the planet. There's a lot of money, there's fame, there's prestige, everybody looks glamorous, and on and on and on it goes. You see? They live in big homes, they drive the most expensive cars, they have the wildest, biggest, elaborate parties, they jet set around the world, whatever, whatever. And they're miserable up there. Look at the at the stories that come out of Hollywood about, the divorces and the cheating and the anger and, the disappointment and the drug abuse, because they're so lonely and so depressed, that they're taking all these, drugs to try to overcome their problems, and that creates other problems, and on the story goes. See? Because people cannot accept the truth that we're not our material bodies. You see, that's where it must go to. So if I want to do good for another person, and I just try to do good by helping their physical situation or material situation, that person really is in no better condition than they were. Now, here's something that a lot of people don't understand, and unfortunately, a lot of people won't even accept. But there is in the material world the law of karma. Some of you've heard of it, I'm sure. I've talked about it. I've given lectures in Norway on this exact subject. But anyway, the law of karma is a natural law that controls us, just like the law of gravity on planet Earth controls us. So, the law of karma says if I, cause pain, suffering, hardship, death to another living entity, and not just humans, wherever there's life, there's a person. Remember, the personality, the spirit soul is life. If it's in a dog body, a cat body, a bird body, a human body, doesn't matter. The life principle is that spiritual person. And he just happens to be living in and motivating, giving life to a particular body. So, if I, cause pain, suffering, hardship, and death to another living entity, then that's going to come back to me. I'm going to have to suffer pain, suffering, hardship, and death. So, that's bad actions, bad results, bad karma. But if I do the opposite, I do things to help other people's material situation. I do some charity work, welfare work, feed hungry people, whatever the situation may be. I make their material life a little better for the moment. That's called good action, good results, good karma. So we come into whatever lifetime we may enter into with our karma from our previous activities in previous lives. So if I bring in a karmic pattern that says I am going to struggle in the material world to a certain degree, in a certain way, and so on, that's going to take place. See? If I'm destined to be poor, I'm going to be poor. If I'm destined to be sick, I'm going to be sick. If I'm destined to be persecuted in one way or another, that's going to happen. You see? So if I, the charity worker, go in and try to change the material situation with the idea, I'll give them food, I'll give them shelter, I'll give them a better living condition, I'll give them a higher education, like whatever, see, that they're not going to have to suffer their karma. I'm now the controller of their karma, you see. I can arrange it so they will have the life I want them to have. Well, that doesn't work like that. I'm not God. I'm not the controller of the karma. I'm not controller of any of these things, you see. So I may temporarily help, seemingly help their material status with food or shelter or clothing or better water or whatever, but they're still going to have to suffer what they've got coming. This is the point. So really, you can't change that. That's not going to differ. So it's just in one sense, a futile attempt to make their life materially better than it's destined to be. You can't do it. That's why the people that are on the top, they don't always stay on top, do they? They go down to the bottom. Just like you said in Hollywood, their karma put them in a position of fame and fortune and, beautiful bodies and whatever, you see. But they're suffering. They're not happy because of that, because their karma is that, they're going to have to go down one way or another. The Hollywood stars get cancer too. They have, broken homes, and they have, depressions, and they have all kinds of unpleasant material situations. It was their karma. And we create karma in this life too, not only all from past life. See, there's karma that takes place in this life from activities in this life, the karma coming from previous life, and so on. So if we can understand that, we understand we can only do so much. It's not bad to feed hungry people, for instance. But with advanced knowledge, which I'm going to talk about tomorrow, we can feed them in a way that actually is spiritually beneficial. It's not just feeding their body, for a few hours and then they're hungry again, Or if I teach them how to farm, so I don't have to just keep, bringing in the food and putting it on the table. I educate them so they can grow their food or, develop their infrastructure so that they can be self-supportive, you see. Well, that's a good thing, but nonetheless, there's karma that comes with that too. See, it's lack of understanding of the law of karma. It's lack of understanding of the person being a spirit soul, and what is actually good for the person is good for the person spiritually, not only just dealing with their material situation. So we're not saying, just throw away all the people that need some help, but try to understand we need to really help that person. We need to go to a deeper level of help, you see. So, in the Bhagavad Gita, which we're going to, like I say, read a few verses from next installment tomorrow night, it talks about all these things, and, we need this kind of knowledge. This is what's lacking. There are people who are dedicating their whole life to making lives better for other people, or to make the planet better, or, to do good things. So in the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, it gives levels of activity, that a person can engage in, and of course the top level is to always think of and meditate on the Supreme Lord, understand you are his eternal servant, give your life to him, etc., etc. That's the best. That's perfect. Lord Jesus Christ, for example, he was on that level of perfection. But not everybody can do that. So then the next level down is to actually engage in the process of bhakti yoga, follow rules, regulations, which purify and develop within a person these higher levels of consciousness, these higher levels of aspiration and inspiration, you see, and gives them enthusiasm. So they want to, grow spiritually and help other people to grow spiritually, you see. But not everybody's going to do that. So then the next level down was to help other people who are doing that are trying to spread these messages of truth. See, help them, you know. Then that's really the, beautiful charity work, volunteer work. I'm not going to do it, but I want to help you do it. You see, great, you know. But if you can't do that, then just come off of that whole understanding of these spiritual activities and help people in their material struggles in life. In other words, open hospitals, donate to, different good work charities, so to speak, and so on. Because it's taking you out of your own self-centeredness. You see, that's helping you think about other people. It's expanding your horizons. It's softening your heart. It's opening you up to higher levels of life. See, you got to start where you are. Not everybody's going to start at the top, of course, or the second layer or the third layer or whatever. But somewhere in this whole structure, you can begin, and then gradually that leads you to the next step and the next step and the next step and so on. So we are where we are. We can't, play the game. I'm so exalted. I'm so high. No. You see, we are where we are. See, so begin there. But we need guidance on how to do these things, and that's what we're missing. You see, we're running on our own whims or speculations or what I think or what my opinion is. And, there's so many involved in all of this, what externally is labeled as doing good for other people is simply just satisfying somebody's agenda, going into countries with an agenda. It looks like we're going to help the people in this way or that way. And I'm not saying in just only countries. My neighbors or, the little part of the city I live in, it's not so wealthy as my part of the city or whatever. You see, wherever you go, you seemingly are going there for a good cause, but you've got your agenda, and you're using it. You're using this charity front to actually control some situation, control populations, control, the minds of people. You can go in and control people's minds, change their whole way of looking and thinking. You can make them subservient to what you want them to be like, your agenda. And that's going on all the time. And now with the social media influence and all these things that are so powerful, people's minds are being completely changed. And people think, oh, it's so great. I can just push this button and, go to all these places and I can connect with so many friends and, I can find out what's going on in everybody's life. And we think that's good, and I can help somebody by helping them buy a smartphone and make their life better. But we don't know behind all of these things there's a big agenda. It's not all pure because people aren't pure. It's not right. That's why we need some direction, some guidance, some absolute authority to guide us in our munificent attitudes. You see, our feelings within. Can I help you? Yes, you can, but you don't know how. You see, that's why we need advanced knowledge. I sometimes use the example. Let's say there's a very severe auto accident, and two people arrive at the scene of the accident at the same time. One is just a common layman, and the other one is a very, very advanced medical doctor, especially trained in medical emergencies. They both drive up, they both get out of their cars, they run to the scene of the accident. Here's a person severely injured in the car. Both have the same motivation to help this person. See, they're thinking about how can I help this person. See? But the layman has no knowledge. He just runs up, he sees the guy all crumpled behind the steering wheel. He grabs the guy, drags him out of the car, you see, puts him on the ground. Maybe in so doing, he's caused the guy to have severe neck damage, nerve damage in the neck. See, because he had so severe injury to the neck that he actually paralyzes the guy for life. Or maybe the guy dies because he didn't know what to do. He had so much desire to help, and he actually did the opposite. He made it so the guy either died or was paralyzed. The medical doctor sees the same exact situation, and he's got the knowledge. So he understands, I got to stabilize this person's neck. I got to make it so he can very, very gently and gradually be removed from the vehicle when other people come to help me do it, because I can't do it alone, because I can't risk the chance of causing that spinal cord damage. So other people come, he instructs those people on what to do. They do it, go lay the man down, he administers the necessary procedures till the ambulance comes, and they take the person away, and he recovers completely. Nothing about the motivation, but it's about the knowledge. You see, we're running around with good intentions, but we don't know what to do with them. Some people are full with compassion, and they see a person begging in front of a supermarket or something. The guy's a drug addict, an alcoholic, or both. You see, and he's begging for money, and they feel compassion for this guy. They give the guy money, and what does he do? He gets enough of that money from compassionate people to go and buy drugs, or go in the store and buy, a bottle of vodka, and go out, and feed his habits. Did you help that person? Yes, you did. You helped that person go lower and lower into, darkness. That's what you do. Your compassion was misdirected. Mm-hmm. It's not about, just taking compassion and throwing it everywhere, doing whatever we feel we need to do. Oh, I'm just listening to my heart. See, but is our heart pure? See, what message is coming from our heart? Compassion is in everybody's heart. But when it's misdirected, it can do a lot of damage. You see, some people think, oh, I want to help this guy. I'll give him the vodka myself. I'll buy it for him. Oh, would you like a cigarette? Here, smoke one of mine. Oh, I've got some marijuana. Roll it up here, for you. This will make you feel better. This is misdirected. It's not based on knowledge. You don't really help the person. See, and you really don't help the person unless you know the person's spirit soul. See, so when we come back tomorrow night, we're going to teach you how to gain knowledge so you can really help people. That's the point. Really help the person. So come back tomorrow night. We're very happy that you've come tonight. I hope you'll finish this 3-set series, because you can walk away. And if you're that kind of person who wants to help people, now you've got a new understanding of how to do that. So thank you very much. Namaste, Haribol. Reuben, thank you. And I hope you can take us to your beautiful lake tomorrow. Namaste, Haribol. All right, so let's continue where we left off. I've got a program coming up. I have to kind of wrap this up, but I want to get the idea across about wisdom and love. You see, we've talked about wisdom. You can do all kind of things without knowledge, and the result doesn't come out very good. You see, we need wisdom. Wisdom I'm referring to is Vedic wisdom, absolute wisdom. I've told you that we're spirit souls. We're not our material bodies. That's who we are, And, even if I could change everybody's karma and make it so their material situation was wonderful, the spirit soul would still be needing spiritual food, spiritual happiness, spiritual love. This is how you can help people. This material world is not our home. It's where we are. It's a temporary residence, but that temporary residence can last for an unbelievably long time. Our true home is in the spiritual world. There is a spiritual world. We are spirit souls. This is our natural home. I've already informed you that we're parts and parcels of the Supreme Soul. And that loving relationship with the Supreme Soul is what we're missing. Our eternal position is to serve the Supreme Lord out of love, not servitude, because I have to, out of love. Love is giving. Lust is taking. Remember I said this lust, anger, and greed that always contaminate us in the material world? But love is the opposite of lust. It's our natural condition to love, and when you love someone, you serve someone. There's no such thing as somebody loving another person and not serving that other person. It's impossible. It doesn't exist, because love and service are the same. They're combined. They are the constant, compatible companions. So what we have to do is purify the heart so we actually have that love. We have to have the wisdom that these other people, you see, are spirit souls. And what they are missing in life is this loving relationship with the Supreme Lord. See? So Lord Jesus Christ in the West is the most known purveyor of the absolute truth, And he said, first love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, mind, the entire being. That was his first commandment. First, you love God. Then love your neighbor as yourself. When you love God, you serve God. When you love your neighbor, you serve your neighbor. And your neighbor can be not just the guy that lives next door. That means all other fellow humans as well as all other living entities. We're all brothers and sisters. We're all children of the one Supreme Father, you see. And so a person who has real wisdom, he understands, if I want to help this person, I need to help them spiritually. Now, he may combine that with helping them materially also, because when you love someone, you want to see them do good or do better or have an improved material and spiritual situation. Not just spiritual, but to hell with your material situation. Suffer, you're a demon. That's what you deserve. Good on you. No. You care about the person's material well-being and the spiritual well-being combined, And did not Jesus heal sick people? Didn't he, administer to the poor? Didn't he, try to help people's not only material situation, but spiritually he brought the message they needed to solve all problems. And that's how you help people. So there's no service greater and more pleasing to the Supreme Lord than for me to help his children come to know him, to know who they are, to make it so they can now have information on how to begin their journey back to the spiritual world. And any way I can help them, I can assist them in that journey, is bringing me closer to the Supreme Lord. He's more pleased with me. And I'm receiving that pleasure and mercy upon me. So the whole thing just grows on itself. Everybody benefits. Everybody benefits. The Lord is pleased. I'm pleased. The ones I'm helping become more and more pleased. And they begin to help other people. And that's pleasing. And the thing just expands and expands, you see. So that's the idea. Now, let's take some concrete examples. I said some people spend their whole life trying to feed hungry people, Well, that's great. But if you just feed them food that's karmically contaminated, you're just increasing their karma. You see, that is not helping the person spiritually speaking. They're going to have to go. And, you know, I know many people won't accept this, but, the Vedas all teach, all yoga teaching is that, vegetarian diet is the diet for humans. And it's the only acceptable diet for humans. This is scriptural injunction. This is taught by the great masters. This is taught by the Lord himself. So, you can take vegetarian food stuff, but before you do anything else with it, you prepare it nicely, however you decide to do. You offer it to God as an offering to him. Uh-oh, I lost the connection. Either me or him, I don't know what. I got a symbol I never seen before. This is a new one.
Maybe you can continue.
Can you hear me, Reuben? Okay. So you can take that food and you offer it to the Supreme Lord. In the Bhakti Yoga process, we learn how to do that, but I can tell you so briefly, if you haven't, got that information now. Take the apple, for instance, and before you do anything with that apple, you eat it or you give it to someone else, you say, God, please accept this apple. And you do this with as much love and devotion in your heart as you have. He's the first recipient of your offering. Then he accepts that apple. That apple now is free of all karma, and it is spiritually potent, spiritually purified. It's spiritual food. It's a spiritual apple. If you give this apple to that person who's asking for food, and he eats that apple, now the person, the spirit soul in that body makes spiritual advancement. You have helped them spiritually come closer to solving all problems of life, to return home to the spiritual world. You have been an instrument in bringing that to them. You see, God has come to them in the form of that apple. So you have been an instrument for that. See, now that is perfect. So you can do this. Transcendental sound, mantras, these mantras that we chant, you see, they are spiritually purifying. So if you arrange it so someone can hear the mantras, and it doesn't have to be only a person in a human body, you see, whether it's food, whether it's mantras, whatever. If a living entity in a dog body, a cat body, a bird body, a tree body, somehow they can receive this, you see, the dog eats the apple. You see, I know dogs that eat apples, vegetarian dogs. You see, give it to a cow. They love it. Horses love apples. See, you give that to them. They eat it. Now they, the spirit soul in that horse body, they make spiritual advancement. They will take a human birth at least in their next life. You see, you've helped them move forward in their journey back to the spiritual world. This is scriptural truth. You arrange so they hear the chanting. You chant to other people in human bodies or lower forms of life. They hear that. It purifies them spiritually, you see. So you're not just making it so they hear nice music. They're hearing transcendental sound, you see. You can go to a person. It may be a loved one. Maybe your mother, your father, your grandmother, grandfather, friend, whoever. They're getting ready to leave their body. Their term in this material body is over. You go to them, if you're so fortunate and have the knowledge and desire to do so, and you make it so they hear transcendental sound before they leave their body. That will have such a difference in their journey forward that you have no idea what you've done. And there's nothing more pleasing to the Lord than you helping his children in these ways, you see. And now you are going to be more and more happy. So you're not just doing welfare work and charity work on a material level. You're doing spiritual, full missionary, transcendental, filled with love work. You see? And that is the purpose of the human form of life. But you need wisdom to do this, you know. And as you do this more and more, you're going to want to do it more and more. It becomes the focus of your life. And you're not just, doing it out of ignorance. You're doing it out of full understanding of who this person is. And you want to help this person. And sometimes you understand to help a person spiritually, you may do something or need to do something that's not going to help them materially, you see, etc. And doing something materially for a person, in most cases, it doesn't help them spiritually at all. So you've got to have wisdom and understanding and be discriminating. Don't just go out there and operate on compassion and emotion and sentiment and so on, and just cause basically, a bigger mess, or you don't help anything. It just makes you feel good maybe because you think I did something good, and you did in one sense, but in the other sense, no, it wasn't really good. It was just, seemingly so because of the knowledge. Remember the doctor and the layman trying to help the injured person. See, be that doctor, get that knowledge. And when you get to the scene of the accident, which is everybody's life, everybody is in a train wreck, basically, you can actually help the person. You see, that's truth. So, the process of bhakti yoga is filled with guidance, filled with information of how to do these things. And it is giving a practice that if we apply that practice to our life, then our hearts become cleansed, our hearts become softer, our compassion for other people grows, our desire to help other people grow. And now we have wisdom to know I want to help them spiritually. You see, mothers know what to do with their children. They want to help their children. All mothers, if they're real mothers, want the best for their child. But if they don't have any understanding, they don't know what is best. They raise their children, feeding them meat and letting them do all kinds of things which they think it's good for them, it's fun for them, it's so on and so on. And it's actually spiritually destructive. They don't know. It's not they're doing it out of ill intent. They're doing it out of lack of understanding. See? So if you're going to be a parent, a husband or a wife, if you're going to be a friend, you want to be a friend to somebody. A friend is somebody who helps somebody. What do they say? A friend in need is a friend indeed. See? Okay, everybody's in need. They need spiritual help. They need spiritual upliftment. They need spiritual growth and knowledge and so on. You want to be a friend? Help that person, spiritually speaking. Enlighten them. Give them this knowledge. Engage them. Say, come on, let's do this together. Let's go chant together. You see, that's a real friend. You want to help your friends? Know how to help your friends. You see, you're good association. And you can help them. And then they can become good association and help other people. And it goes on and on. It just spreads. So bad things spread and good things spread. Everything spreads one way or the other. See, darkness spreads and light spreads. We want to be harbingers of light. We want to be spreading the light of knowledge. See, transcendental truth, transcendental good, Chanting the mantras is the highest welfare work. It's declared in Scripture. It's the highest welfare work. Giving money and time and effort and energy to all these different charity programs and so on. It's not even close to the chanting. It's not even in the same category at all. It's the highest welfare work. Chanting the mantras. And then giving the information. See, study these things, learn yourself, and pass it to other people. And you're going to be increasingly more and more dear to the Supreme Lord. And there's nothing better than that. You see, that's the relationship of all relationships that is not touched by death All these material relationships, as close and as warm as they may be, will be separated at the time of death. You will leave or they will leave. It's guaranteed, you see. However, these spiritual relationships, with the Lord and, the Lord's children, they aren't separated at the time of death. If you have a spiritual bond with another living entity, that bond is eternal. See, that's who we are. We're eternal spirit souls. We want to have an eternal life. And that doesn't mean a life when you die and go to heaven and live forever. Eternal life means you're living on the spiritual eternal level. That's eternal life. It can be right here, right now, in these present bodies that we're in, and you're living an eternal life. Life is eternal anyway. You see, you can't not have eternal life. But we're talking about a meaningful, true, happy, eternal life, as it should be. See, so when you learn this knowledge, you know what is to be done and what is not to be done. And as I say, you become discriminating. You don't just do anything and everything because somebody says so. You don't run on compassion, blindly. You actually are stable with knowledge, understanding, and desire to please the Lord. And there's nothing more pleasing to the Lord than helping his children come home. So, whirlwind tour. It's been a quick weekend. These sessions are very short, very concentrated. If you picked up anything from any of this, we're thankful. We're doing ongoing programs with Reuben. So we'll be back and we'll see you then. But one thing I'd like to do for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, is to do a meditation called Sankirtan with music. The mantras Gauranga. That's all. The mantra Gauranga, I'm going to chant. You listen, and then you respond to what I chant. See, you hear some other people chanting. I have some friends here with me. We're at Chintamani Studio. And so you'll hear them respond. You chant with them. It's only 2 or 3 minutes because our time is up, but transcendental sound, 1 second, is so beneficial. Gauranga, everybody. Gauranga, Gauranga, Haribo.
Gauranga, Gauranga, Haribo.
Gauranga, Gauranga, Haribo.
Gauranga, Gauranga, Haribo.
Gauranga, 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 Haribo.
Gauranga, 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 Haribo.
Gauranga, 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 Haribo.
Gauranga, 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 Haribo.
Gauranga,
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 Gauranga. Okay, everybody, thank you so much, and we'll see you next week. So until that time, if you so desire, think about some of these ideas. You know, in the heart, everybody wants to be good. We're good people because spirit, soul is pure. See, everybody's a good person, but they've come contaminated, misdirected, let other things take over their life. You see, so the result is not good. Mm. So we can become a truly good person by following these teachings, and therefore everybody benefits. So again, I got to run. Thank you so much, Ruben. Thank you very much. You know, Haribo to Lynn, and we'll see you guys next week.
Thank you very much, Balakhilya. Namaste. See you soon again.
All right, Haribo.